Phone on silent.
Yeah, put it on airplane mode. It's under the table. Bit of good boy.
How do you pronounce your surname again?
Brierley.
Brierley. I know it's that.
Brierley.
Sounds like a rapper name, doesn't it?
Brierley. Everyone says Riley.
I swear it sounds like, what rap song is it that has that? Sounds like Brierley, but it ain't. I'm thinking Jay-Z or something.
I don't listen to rap.
No, what's your genre?
Well, I guess I do listen to a bit of rap, but not.
What's on your? Do you have Spotify?
Yeah. So my
what was your
Spotify,
2019? Artist
I
of the
didn't
year?
do it, but it would have been Post Malone probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So I probably only listened to Post Malone and Drake.
Okay, so that is
rap.
Drake was my one.
Was he?
Yeah.
I think Drake was a lot of people's one.
So you just said you didn't have rap and you had Drake.
Two. Yeah.
Yeah. And Post Malone. So I was thinking, is he in the rap?
He's a bit of a blend, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like pop rap.
Yeah, but I don't listen to I don't know. I guess non-mainstream people.
No.
I don't really.
You don't know
Don't know.
Did you listen to the Stormzy and Wiley beef?
No.
Stormzy won. Just putting it out there. Dissing everyone's mum.
Was he?
This is how we start podcasts, Lou. Like we'll just keep
So,
this in.
This is it. This is the.
There is no
PTC podcast.
We get the guests to pronounce their surname.
Yeah. And then that's
Brierley,
what
not Riley. It's got to be.
Brierley.
The only thing that I try and do is a little Google search on people.
Oh God! Did you do one on me?
Yeah.
Frightening. What did you find?
Actually, I just went straight to your Instagram and I was like, let me see what the link in his bio is. And what's your Explore Strong?
Explore Stronger.
Explore Stronger.
Yeah.
And there was stuff there, and I just went to big facts because I thought let's get straight into it.
So literally, you just stole my facts off my own website.
Yeah. So it's like I don't give like a big intro and like this is in today's guest we have this. So Lou's big facts. I'm going to end up going Alan Partridge on that. Welsh but speak English in brackets. Shameful, I know. Doggos over humans. Still the case?
Always.
Keen interest in Viking history. That was new to me.
Did you not know? Did you not see my arm?
Well, yeah, but I didn't know.
And the hair.
What classifies a keen interest? Like how obsessive are you?
Not obsessive.
Oh, right.
Not obsessive. But I feel like if you've got
Just keen
half a
interest.
sleeve with Viking influence on it, you kind of probably have to say that you've got
you're not going to get
relative interest in
tattoo
Viking
on
history.
your arm with something that you're not interested in.
On the flip of that, if someone asked me many questions about like Norse mythology, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you.
Competed as a natural powerlifter and bodybuilder. What are you more of if you had to lean to powerlifter or bodybuilder? Pick one.
Bodybuilder.
Okay.
Only because powerlifting hurts.
Yeah. Just, if it's at under 6 reps, I'm like, this is torture.
Exactly.
10 tough mudders.
Yeah, 10
Is
times
that
stuff
still
better.
accurate? Or
That's still accurate.
Yep.
Last one was in 2017,
nice.
which is sad. But they're going down, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah, sinking ship. Lots of stuff going on.
Tough mudder, tough business.
Yeah, exactly that.
Do
I
you
think
know why?
Spartan are going to buy them out.
Who are?
Spartan.
Okay.
There's talks that Joe DeSena's buying them out. So essentially, I think the Will Dean, the CEO, stepped down as CEO, and then the guy that came in, there's been some sort of like, there's a trio essentially, and I don't think it's
working.
It's working.
Breaking news. Has this been publicised? Obviously, it has to be somewhere.
Yeah, there was a podcast on it. Oh. So maybe that's not 100% accurate, but it's not good for Tough Mudder.
Talks and a thing. Yeah. Owned a fitness business for 5 years.
I did.
Gym for 4.
Gym for 4.
Obviously, the theme of this podcast will be more of like getting into fitness and then becoming a gym owner at what age?
20. It would have been 22 when I probably opened the doors.
So that's that's a relatively young for someone opening their own gym. Would like to live in the Shire.
Yes. Do you know where the Shire is?
No, tell me.
I'm super upset. I don't think I want to take part anymore.
Go on.
The Shire's...
it sounds lovely.
It's where the hobbits live. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I think I watched the first one and then I was like, mate, I ain't got 3+ hours. I'm not into that.
That's unbelievable.
Spider-Man, Marvel, maybe.
Really?
This is going to get... But then for me, they're all the same. Just a different baddie.
Just a different baddie.
They always win in the
end.
end.
A different costume.
Oh, do you know what I mean? I like real things. Real stories, true stories.
That's why I want to live in the Shire. That's a true story.
Exactly. I know it is.
Based on a true story.
Yeah. Do you want to live with them as well? What they called hobbits?
Hobbits.
Yeah,
I was lucky enough to go there in January of last year.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird feeling when you've watched somewhere for so long and then all of a sudden you're there.
You're standing there.
Yeah, it's so surreal. But it was amazing. It was incredible.
Was it better or worse?
Yeah, exceeded every expectation.
Yeah.
Amazing place.
Nice. And last one, always land in Tilted Towers.
Yeah. Only some people are going to get that reference.
Yeah, I definitely do. But Tilted Towers has gone now,
Tilted Towers is gone.
So what's the new hotspot? It's me and Lou play on the PlayStation.
Lots of PlayStation. Ooh. Misty Meadows is the place now, isn't it?
Misty Meadows, that's the hot
Misty
drop.
Meadows. It's a bit sad that Tilted went. I don't really like the new map, if I'm totally honest.
No.
And plus, because I was away for so much of last year, I missed a lot of
the updates. So you go into it and you're like, now there's boats, now I can swim.
I can fish and I can do all sorts of weird stuff.
These little zip wire.
Yeah. That's why you've got an 11-year-old nephew to keep you on your toes with every...
Ryan.
I
remember it all. Little, I won't give his hand all away.
Yeah. He's changed it, actually.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Mine was lethal, wasn't it? So he changed his to lethal as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm like, is that Brizzle? Is that the other one?
Yeah.
He's 11, so I'm not going to give it away.
Is that the big one or the little one?
Yeah.
Big one.
Right, so how did you get into fitness then? Obviously, you opened the gym when you was thinking, so let's go back. When was it where you was like, what was your history? Did you go straight into fitness as a job, or did you have other jobs before that?
So, kind of just didn't have anything that could stick and nothing that I was really good at. Got kicked out of college twice.
Okay, so not an academic?
Not an academic whatsoever. I left school, did IT, did computer gaming, programming, stuff like that. Got kicked out, then left that, went to do animal management, also got kicked out of that.
Animal management?
Animal management. If you give me a job as a zookeeper today, I would take it. Yeah? Without a question of a doubt. Yeah, 100%.
Would you want your own zoo?
I wouldn't want my own zoo, no.
Just a job?
Just a job, yeah.
Okay.
So around that time, I started lifting weights, started getting into fitness, and then kind of had a really just dead-end job. I was like 18. I was like, this is just not fun. I'll try college one more time. So initially, they weren't going to let me in because of my track record, which was obviously not very nice, but it was the facts and it was truth. So I managed to, don't know how actually I got in. I don't know if somebody had spoken to them or something, but they gave me a shot and I passed my level 2 qual in college, then got offered a job in the gym that I was training at. So during this period, I was competing as a natural bodybuilder in the BMBF and the MPA.
And what age are you now?
So this is like 18 going into 19.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so...
That's it. Have a few years lifting experience straight on stage.
Yeah, straight on stage. Thankfully, no test or any jabs involved, which was always a good route to go down. But yeah, straight on stage. So basically started lifting when I was like probably 17, and then by 19 I'd competed like 3 or 4 times. Not very successfully. More kind of like fell into it and then got into the bug and just enjoyed it and just wanted to do it. But looking back, it's not something I'm mega proud of. More proud of the journey than the actual outcome on stage.
Yeah. Well, you're only 19, so you can't expect.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I was like 10 stone when I started lifting. So I was like a little racing snake.
Did you do any sports? Like going back, were you quite
I played athletic? A lot of football.
Football, yeah.
Yeah, I played county level football. So I was always relatively fit. And
were you one of them? I could have been pro?
No. There's no chance.
There's so many of them.
Yeah, no.
No, there's no chance. Professional footballer. I did have trials with Chelsea, and then let me go.
Well, yeah, it's difficult. I think for where we live, I think if you get trials for anyone, it's going to be like Preston.
Yeah.
So like, that's not even. It's not really pro football anyway, is it? I think it's like semi-pro. So
Big Len there, he goes to these tournaments, and you got Chelsea, you got Arsenal, you got scouts watching under 7s.
It's incredible, and if they can get scouted that early, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So from passing my qualification to then getting a job in the gym that I worked at, I trained at, was like a 18-month transition. And then essentially I was working out of just a normal commercial gym.
Yeah.
Wasn't PTing, was just working
Fitness instructor.
Yeah, taking a few classes, taking some inductions. It was quite a bit of a meathead gym. So I spent most of my time sitting behind the counter not doing much. And then training in the times that I was allowed to train. So it was good, and it was a good like stepping stone. And then I remember thinking, because originally I wanted to do my level 2 so I could go on a cruise ship.
Okay.
So I was 19 when I qualified, and I thought, great, I can now go on cruise ships. I go travel for a little bit. I get paid for it. It'll be really cool. And then when I went to apply, you had to be 21. So I was like, I probably should have realized that before passing. Anyway, so then I was like, well, while I'm still here, I might as well get my level 3. And I remember ringing up, I think it was Focus Training, and asking how much it was, and it was like £1,800 or something. Yeah. And at the time, I probably had about 300 quid in my bank account.
Yeah.
And it was like the scariest step ever.
Yeah, because you're like not guaranteed success.
Exactly.
It's one of those, isn't it? What was so you was in the gym doing level 2. What salary was you on at that time?
Like really poor.
Yeah. Like 12k, 13k?
Yeah, less than that. 10k maybe.
Yeah. And then how many PTs were there?
So it's a very weird dynamic. It was literally a pay-as-you-go gym with no PTs.
Okay.
So it makes its money from just membership base rather than any training base, which was great for me because it meant that I could get paid to work in the gym.
Yeah.
And then I could start doing some PT on the side when I was doing my level 3 qualification. I could brought in some friends and family and stuff and started that way. But yeah, it wasn't like a pure gym where there was loads of trainers on the floor and stuff, where it was just, yes, I don't know how that gym makes money, but maybe we probably shouldn't talk about that.
Yeah. What, when you started doing PT out of the gym then, what was it? Did you pay a rent? Did you give them a percentage? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, so it was a small percentage based on however much I charged them. I think my first ever session was like £10 an hour, which I look back at and it makes me feel sick.
And how much did you have to give the gym?
£3.50. So 35% cut.
Okay, but then you didn't. So you knew that I got £300. This training provider wants 1,800 quid just for a level 3.
Yeah.
I've already got my level 2.
Yeah.
How did you get the money? Or did you pay it? Was there monthly instalment option?
Yeah, there was a monthly installments option. So I think I put the first initial payment down and then obviously left me with not much.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, well, it's literally going to be worked on paydays. So when I get paid, the priority is to pay that off. And my thought process was that I'd be qualified in 6 months.
Yeah.
It was a year's payments of whatever that works out. It's like £200 a month or something.
Yeah.
And my thought process was that, well, when it gets to 6 months, I can start actually PTing people for greater prices, and then I'll be able to pay it off. But like I say, there was no guarantee. There was a bit of a jump in the dark, and around where I am, there's not really a PT culture, if you will, or at least there wasn't.
Yeah.
6-7 years ago. I was probably one of the first to kind of start doing some different stuff, which we can talk about. But there's because there's no chain gyms where we are.
Okay, so let's just, for the purpose of podcast, where are you based? So people will be like, you say, because obviously I know where you are. But
Yeah, so I'm real North Wales.
Yeah.
And the closest chain gyms are Bangor, North Wales and Chester. So we're in like a 30-mile catchment area where there's no chain gyms whatsoever. All independent gyms. Before I opened my place, there was no like semi-private gyms. There was no small group PT gyms. It was all purely like pay monthly. Yeah. Like no some classes and stuff, but there was no real PT culture in North Wales. So yeah, I qualified after the 6 months. Still working.
Did they give you a certificate, or did you have to pay off the rest before you got your certificate through? Can you remember?
Yeah. No. I'm fairly certain they sent it at the end. So once it was all paid off, I sent it at the end.
All right, so
I had to pay for the certificate essentially. It wasn't there when I'd finished the course.
Yeah.
Because I think I finished the course in like 6 months.
Nice.
And looking back, like you don't actually learn anything on the course. So you did literally pay £1,800 for a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know where that piece of paper is.
Where? All right, so you got your piece of paper now, or you qualified, but you've not got your certificate. You were in, how many members was in that gym? You said there was no other personal trainers. There must have been some fitness staff, level 2 ones.
No, none at all. So it's
how
literally
did
gym
people
owner
look after there?
Yeah, so none. It's such a weird dynamic. People pay their monthly fees and that's all they get. I think at one point they didn't even sign any waivers. They didn't even sign anything to come into the gym or anything, which obviously as a business it's not great.
So how many members were there?
400-500.
All right, and you're what now? 20?
20 years old, yeah.
20 years old.
Yeah.
There's no other competition there. You've got 400-500 members.
Yeah, but most of them are meatheads, powerlifters, bodybuilders. It's a don't see someone in lycra type gym.
Okay, and you're 20-year-old. Is that why you got... So you're 20-year-old and you've got people that are pretty advanced, or they feel they're advanced, as in like I know you use the term meathead or bodybuilder or whatever, and they're looking at a 20-year-old
Yeah.
who's probably quite slim.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, quite slim, doesn't use gear,
yeah.
can only deadlift 220.
So how'd you get clients?
I didn't.
At least you're honest.
I didn't. Yeah, so we launched some sort of like boot camp, some like awfully run boot camp that was pay per session. So if it rained, people didn't show up. There was no there was no progression in it. There was no progression as a business sense, and also no progression from a client's perspective as well. So we started that, and then people would come in, but most of my stuff was friends and family.
Yeah.
They knew, like, I was quite fortunate that I documented my journey. So I wrote a lot about my competitions, and I wrote a lot about my progress, and maybe a bit too much looking back on it. If you look back on Facebook memories, it's quite cringe, but it was enough.
If you don't look back at your memories and go, why did I can remember I look back at some of my statuses, and do you know where it'd have, like, it would set the first bit up, like, I can't remember what it is, like, Luke is I would like actually write out, like, what an idiot.
It's embarrassing, but it was enough that people knew that I was fitness and that I could probably help them.
And you have a qualification now.
Yeah, and I have a piece of paper. So we did, like, I started implementing some stuff, because that gym is only ever going to be, it's never going to be like a PT based gym. There's never going to be like that model there. It is literally pay as you go. Come and when you please. So we did a boot camp to not much success, in all honesty. Some days you might have 16 people show up, then some days one person show up, and you'd still have to do the session for £3. And that's like the most demoralizing thing ever, especially when you've got to give a pound.
Payment. It was just pay as you come.
Yeah.
If you don't come, I don't get paid.
So if it was a nice evening, it wasn't too hot, people would show up. If it was pouring down with rain,
they don't show up.
Then they don't show up. So that was horrible, because it creates some sort of like weird anxiety where you're, is there going to be loads of people? Because I remember once, actually, so I was it's like a Thursday night, it's just about to head out on a boot camp. There was like 3 people that had come in and waiting in the gym reception. I was like, oh, this is my life. Like, I'm now going to have to service these 3 people for £6. And I was like, there's more to this. And then, I don't know how it happened, and I don't know why he was here, but Chris Gethin walked in.
Okay.
Bearing in mind, it's a tiny gym in Real. So I was like, I was quite rude. I was like, what are you doing here? That was like my first question.
What are you doing here?
And he was like, oh, it was recommended. I was in the area. Someone recommended it. I was like, now I'm going to miss the opportunity to like talk to him and maybe train with him, because I've got to train these 3 people for £6. And I was like, and at the time I was obviously into bodybuilding, and he was someone that not necessarily looked up to, but he was, you knew 7-8 years ago. He was a big deal.
Especially where you are.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see people like this turning up to my gym.
Yeah, you see Barry from around the corner. That's like, you don't see Chris Gethin just walking in like that. But yeah, I remember that evening, mainly because it was Chris Gethin, but mainly just thinking, it's raining outside, it's pitch black, and I've got to take these 3 people that don't really want to be here. They're here because their husband says that they're fat or this and that, and it's like, maybe there's more to this. Maybe there's more to this. And I think that was at a time where I maybe had 6 to 8 one-to-one clients, but doing it awfully wrong. So they were paying per session. They were paying like £15 per session. If they bought 10 sessions off me, they got it for like a 60% discount or something stupid like that. Yeah, just because I wanted money up front. And it was all right. I enjoyed it. Like, if anything, it put me in a situation where I was having to coach a lot, and regardless of the money, because we're still getting paid from the gym to be there, it was like a supplementary income. So in my eyes, I was 20, still lived at home. I think I rode a motorbike at the time, a little motorbike. So I was like, I don't really need much money, but it gave me 6 to 8 hours every other day to actually like be hands-on and coach people in an environment where it wasn't laid out for coaching. So it was quite challenging to coach someone in an environment that is very hectic, very busy, and very male dominated. Yeah. So I'm very thankful for that, because it helped me progress later on. But I just remember so I was working 40 hours a week in the gym, 7 till 9 some days, like 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. And I got to a point where I just felt like I wasn't being appreciated for what I was doing. There was a lot of members that I used to engage with, and it was a good environment when I was there. When I wasn't there, it wasn't such a great environment. His gym was always tidy, always did anything that I was asked, and that's how I felt. And it just felt like I wasn't appreciated. So I was like, I'm just gonna I'm just going to stop working these hours. So I remember the conversation kind of just went, I said to the guy that owned the gym, I was like, I think I need to talk to you. And he was like, cool. He's like, I feel like you've been a bit off the last few days. He said that to me. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm leaving. I don't want to work here anymore. And he was like, and his genuine response was, oh, who's going to cover my holiday in 3 weeks?
All about him.
So then thankfully he said that to me, because I was like, I've made the right choice.
Yeah.
Like, I've fully made the right
response.
Choice. Yeah. But me being me, so this was like November. I can't remember what year, but a few years ago. And he was going on holiday in January. And I said, well, I'll stay. I'll cover all of the hours in January. I'll stay. When you get back, I'm done. I just PT out of here when I'm ready to PT out of here in my hours. But in regards to working the counter and doing all the other stuff, like, that's it. I'm done. So I left, then did just PT from like 12 p.m. to like 8 p.m. Just did that. And I was still I wasn't necessarily busy, but there was still, people were paying me, people were staying, people enjoyed it, and it was good. And then I genuinely can't remember what changed my mind, but I saw something about earn £1,000 running a fitness camp. Can I say names?
Yeah.
So Paul Mort.
I was going to say Paul.
Yeah. So it was the time Paul Mort was obviously like big.
In the bootcamp.
In the bootcamp world. He'd just come out of his stuff and he was like, so I bought a product called Bootcamp King and it was £300. And I remember sitting there for like 3 nights thinking, I can't spend £300 on something I'm not going to get a copy of. There's someone not physically helping me. And I sat on it for days and days and days. And my girlfriend at the time was like, will you just buy it? She's like, 1, you haven't shut up about it. Yeah, 1, you haven't shut up about it. 2, you've not been sleeping. And 3, the only thing you're looking at on your computer is all the like the sales page and stuff that Paul had written. So I bought it and I locked myself away in a room for 2 days, implemented every single thing that he put out there, and we had 22 people show up for the first session. And I was like, this is crazy. So I essentially went from an idea of like, there's something better, something bigger.
Yeah.
And then from buying that product to launching the free trial was like maybe a 2-week turnaround. So I just went away. The fitness academy was born. Went away, did everything I needed to do, got in touch with the local council about using the local field, did loads of things, like just completely went all in on it.
So was this sort of the first product or service that you enrolled on that wasn't training, nutrition or something related to being a personal trainer, but related to being
this was the
a successful business, which a personal trainer needs to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it was the first CPD product that I invested in. It was the first thing I actually put money into, like better my education and my business. And thankfully it was a business course. Yeah. It wasn't how to teach a squat or how to do this, how to do this. It gave me the fundamentals of a business that I could make money. So then over the coming years, I could then invest in nutrition and training and all the other sides. Yeah,
because you've now got the money to do so. So
rather than putting £300 into a product that was just going to teach me how to help someone squat better.
Yeah. Right. So Morty, I'm gonna give you the segment so you can use it as testimonial. So now you've locked yourself away. Yeah. You've done this course.
Yeah.
That to me is your best investment
100%.
you've ever had.
100%. That £300 ended up, it's probably made me $250,000 over the last 5 years.
Nice. So the fitness academy.
Yeah.
So this is where you're like, I'm going to have my own gym now. What goes through your head then?
So, yeah, the fitness academy was born. At first, it was a really weird dynamic for me because it was large group training.
Yeah.
Something I hadn't really done before. More one-to-one based stuff. Obviously, coming from powerlifting, bodybuilding background, like barbell movements, all that kind of stuff is like my staple. So it was like a big learning phase of like, actually people don't need this. They can actually get by with other stuff. And there's a lot more that intertwines into it if they don't need to use a gym. Yeah. So 22 people showed up first week, first session. And then that number kind of like within 4 or 5 of it. So by the end of the free trial, I think we'd about 35 to 40 people, actual people had showed up across the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we converted 18 of them into paying members for what was then a 4-week fitness camp, essentially.
Okay, so they get 2 weeks free. If they want to carry on for the other 2 weeks, you pay.
No, so they wanted to carry on for 4 weeks then. So it was just a 4-week rolling, yeah. I did a 2-week free because I wanted to find out whether it was right for me.
Yeah.
And just whether it was the style of coaching.
And how many
and training.
sessions did they get per week?
So they got Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m., 3 sessions a week, 12 in a month.
And where are you doing this?
In a field.
In a field?
Yeah, literally like...
You've got plenty of them where you are?
Yeah, loads of fields in Wales.
For free.
But ones without sheep are rare, so... So I bought a little tiny whiteboard.
Nice.
And I bought... I went out when 18 people had signed up for £50 each. So this was a monthly commitment. So straight away I turned this 300.
Ongoing?
Yeah.
So just
This
would
is
you use
recurring.
PayPal?
Yeah, PayPal at the start.
Monthly,
just easy. And that £300 within 3 weeks had turned into 900. So I went out and bought a little whiteboard, and I bought, do you know like the interlocking mats that you put under like your tumble dryer or something? Yeah. So I bought like 36 of them, so they had 2 each. And then I had a little wooden box that I'd keep them in, and I'd lean my whiteboard against it. That only lasted 2 days because a dog walker let his dog piss all over the box on the second day. So then I had to carry them manually. So yeah, that was it. So then it kind of just evolved from that. Like I was following the advice of marketing and the ways that.
So how did you market? How did you get people in the local area? How did you get those 21, 22 people, or those 35, 40 over that 2 week period? How did you get them to turn up at 6 a.m. on that Monday?
I must have messaged 150 people.
So you didn't start an Instagram page and a Facebook page and start going, I'm going to start creating some video content.
I literally you went on the message.
On the dog and bone, you're on the phone.
Well, not quite on the dog and bone, but on the thumbs.
On the thumbs.
On the sticks.
And you're messaging people.
Messaging friends, messaging family, saying, look, I'm starting some new thing. Would love it if you can come and try it. It's free for the first 2 weeks. If you've got a friend that wants to come, bring a friend. If you've got a sister or a mum or anything, or a dog, bring a dog, obviously. But yeah, I just messaged so many people and just said like, please just come and try it out. It would mean a lot to me if you could make it. And I remember the night before, it was a Sunday night. I think, when did we start? It was like June. So it was summer. And I remember just this horrible feeling of like, what if no one shows up in the morning? What if? And I remember pulling up in the car park like mega early, like 20 past 5. Session doesn't start till 6. But I'd asked everyone to get there at 1:45 because I wanted to sign some waivers and some forms and just go through some stuff to make the session run smoothly. And yeah, I was sitting there in this little white van, and just slowly but surely these car headlights were just coming in.
What was your feelings? What was your emotions?
I was scared more than anything because I thought the more people that show up, the more difficult this is going to be because there's going to be so many. I think at that time I'd only ever taken a class of like 10 people.
Yeah, so now doubling the numbers.
So now I'm doubling the numbers, and 22 people showed up, and I was like, and it was great because there was like people I knew, so friends that I knew, some family, and then like 1 or 2 of their friends. So like straight away I had an instant connection with someone because of a referral or whatnot. And it was such a surreal feeling, just all those people there for me to try and help them. And then we stayed outside for like 3.5 months, 4 months. It was then getting to a point where the mornings were getting dark and there was no lights and stuff. So I got in contact with the local school. They said that we could use their playground. We ended up taking on a couple of the teachers, so it was even better.
Yeah.
And then, so this is then coming into like November and December, and numbers had dropped a little bit. So from the initial 18 that had paid, we kind of ebbed and flowed. I think we dropped down to about 12. But in my eyes, it was 12 hours of work a week, a month. And I was getting paid £600 for it, which was nearly more for 160 hours of work in the gym.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can do this for just 10 people. Like, I'm cool with it.
But you're outside, it's getting cold, it's getting wet, it's dark in the mornings, it's dark early. But
the school playground had lights.
Nice.
So it was fine. So we still had whiteboard and mats. That's all we had. That's all the equipment we had. Every workout was body weight, regressions, progressions. It was actually like, when I look back, like I was surprised myself at how I coached it and how I managed it, because we had people of all abilities and all ages and all sizes. And then something really weird happened. I couldn't tell you what happened, but obviously January and February, we went from 12 people in the December of, it would be like 2015, I think. To March, we had 44 people signed up. And I couldn't tell you why. Nothing changed like drastically.
What about marketing though? What was your thing?
Still a constant message, still daily help on Facebook, just giving people free stuff, like, you know, tips, advice, guidance. And I was always fairly interactive. So if anybody ever asked me a question, I would answer it. If anybody ever commented, I would answer it. And I'd make sure that they got as much as me as possible. But yeah, so I'd gone from working in the gym, doing loads of hours doing PT and not really enjoying it, to then doing hardly any hours because I was still working Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I ended up putting an evening session on. So we did 6 a.m. and 6:30. There was like 21 in the morning and 21 or 22 in the evening. And it was just such a weird thing because I went from never earning more than £1,000 a month to all of a sudden getting like 2.5K in 1 month. And it was like, okay, this stuff works.
And the beautiful thing is you've got that monthly recurring revenue, because I've been a strong advocate of like, don't do block sessions, 100%. Do monthly, because then you've got the security of, absolutely. You know, as you said, you had 20, gives you this much, $1,000. You have 10, gives you 500. You have, absolutely. Do you know what I mean? So you know what you need to do. If you look back now then, if you was to launch it again, also you said you had a dip, you went down to 12.
Yeah.
You older, wiser now?
Yeah.
Definitely older, hopefully wiser.
I would say so.
What would you do now if you launched it again, going back as in, I'm Lou, I'm 5-6 years older now. What would you do marketing-wise to get more people in, or to make sure that you had a steady influx? I mean, the first time you done it was great. You had 21, but it dipped. How could that 20 the next month be 40, then 60, then 80? Like, what would you do marketing wise?
I think the marketing was fine because there was always people coming in. So the people that we lost were always replaced. So there was always a steady influx of people. I think the product itself could have been better.
So you had the retention
issue. Yeah, it got solved later on, but early days, knowing what I know now, the service offered would have been far greater than what it was. A lot more support, a lot more accountability. Just, you know, when I had the gym, we were doing coffee and cake walks, community events, charity events, and all different stuff like that kept our retention above 90%. Whereas if I'd have implemented some of that early on, obviously I was 21 years old. Like,
yeah,
I'd gone from nothing. I'd gone from nothing to like, wow, this is crazy. I can actually make a career out of this.
Because I thought it'd be retention. Because when you said I'm getting paid for just 12 hours, you were looking at it with the mindset of it's just an 3 hours an hour, a week,
an hour of my
4
day,
weeks in a month,
exactly, rather than trying to build it.
I'm going to spend another 8 hours that month, and I'm going to be working on doing these events or actually programming stuff and having check-ins. And
I think those bolt-ons to it would have made it better without a question of that. I think something I should probably credit more to is that I used to sit in the same coffee shop every single morning from 8 o'clock till 10:30, 11 o'clock. Whether that was actually work or whether that was just sitting, drinking coffee, reading or writing. I was the personal trainer. They'd see me on Facebook. They then see me every morning because I'm sat in the same spot. And if you've met me and you know me, I'm friendly, I'm nice, I'm warm and welcoming. And I think I was just top of mind awareness.
Yeah.
You know, you help my friend.
Where people could see you. Where people
would be, yeah. And another great thing about that was that, 10 o'clock when a group of 3 mums comes in, I could just eavesdrop for 30 minutes and I could find out so much about these people, and then I could not necessarily use it,
but market research.
Yeah, I could speak to them in the way that a 21-year-old
normally wouldn't be able to.
Would never be able to relate to. And that's actually why I've got a beard. So I grew my beard because at 21 I looked about 16. So I was training these older people and I was thinking, right, I need to look a bit older. So
they take me more serious.
Yeah, hopefully
I'm really 21, but I look 16. So
and it worked because on my 21 birthday, someone said, "Oh, I thought you were 30." And I was like, well,
and now getting older, you were like, actually, I want people to say I'm younger than what I am.
Again, yeah.
Right, so you
marketing wise wouldn't do anything different.
But you would just improve your systems and have actual focusing on retention rather than looking at. Again, you got better retention. You don't need to find those new people each month. Yeah.
But if I was to do it again, then I would 100% still message the same people. I would be like, look, starting something new. This is what I'm going to do. I would 100% just be everywhere as possibly could. But I think in regards to marketing, I would just make sure that I had a plan. Like back then, I didn't have a plan. It was just, as and when I felt like it. Fortunately, I was fairly motivated to be able to do it. But
Yeah.
now it would be a set plan. It'd be quite strategic. And I think that would obviously bring more people in and be beneficial on the back end.
And I think what a lot of trainers make the mistake of is they get to near client capacity or they're at client capacity
And stop.
and they just stop.
Yeah.
They're like, they stop doing what got them there in the first place. And then like life is life. Like even if you're the best trainer in the world, you do all the client retention stuff.
Stuff happens.
Stuff happens. Like they could lose their job. They could move away. There's so many variables that are out of your control that you get to this point. And then it's not until that first client or the second client and the third and then the fourth and then the fifth and then you go, oh, I need to start posting again.
Yeah.
But especially with like online marketing and social media, I'm all for having that in-person interaction because we can get to know each other a lot better.
Absolutely.
And have that. I can provide value a lot easier to that individual on a one-to-one basis in person than I can by posting 7 times on Instagram. Some posts.
100%.
But what you find is people, they stop their market and they stop that. And you can slow stuff down.
Yeah.
Like if you need some clients, then obviously it's like training. I'm going to overreach in this phase. And then when I get to it, I'm going to have a deload. But it's not, I'm going to stop training completely. And then when you are in a position where you lose that 1 or 2 clients or maybe more, and then you're like, crap, I need those clients. You've not provided no value to anyone apart from your clients for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
So then you're like, actually, I want your money now, people. Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah,
You're like,
and then in another 4 weeks of consistent marketing, you might get 1 or 2 on the back end.
And
but
then
in that time frame,
you go back to thing and then you're back to square one. So it's being able to know when you need to push, when you're launching it for the first time, when you're on that phone and you're texting, you're like, bring that person. You're trying to do things like that. And then when you're there to make sure that you don't drop the ball in regards to serving your clients that are paying you, and that you don't drop the ball in regards to having that content that got you those people to trust you enough to turn up on that Monday morning,
of course.
to keep that going. Like, you're not saying you have to be as prolific and as with that, but you still need to do stuff.
I think most people just massively overcomplicate what they actually need to do. I think a lot of trainers, especially new trainers, look at it as like other trainers are going to look at what I'm doing and critique what I'm doing. Now, I've had a lot of trainers in my local area that have called me out and done so and so, but at the end of the day, I'm now sitting here with the prospects of going to South Africa in 48 hours and they're still cleaning the same machines for £10 an hour. So it's like, it's not so much about what other people are going to think. It's like, who can you help? And these people that you are wanting to help that will pay you good money for training don't know anything. They don't know that protein is in chicken. They don't know that drinking X amount of water is going to benefit them because of Y. So I think so many people just get caught up in like, oh, I can't post that because so-and-so, or I'm not bright enough or clever enough or intelligent enough to be able to explain the Krebs cycle or something like that. It's like, no, just like, just a reminder to eat your veg this week. Yeah,
focus on like who your target audience is, who are the people who are going to be paying you money. And I think that's a lot of things. The fitness industry, they just want to do the new course, the new academy, the new this, the Facebook ads, the paid advertising. I want to learn this here, I want to do that. I'm like, how about you just learn to execute and keep it simple? And as you said, if you've got an offline business, you don't need to be serving like hundreds of thousands of people.
Exactly. And I genuinely think the time that I spent in that coffee shop Monday, Wednesday, Friday would be more of a return on investment than any Facebook ad that I'd ever run.
Yeah, it's just, and that's the thing. Marketing principles are the principles. The tactics you use are going to vary.
Absolutely.
So like, first of all, people need to know who the hell you are. If we're looking at you as a brand and we're keeping it marketing terms, is there brand awareness?
Yeah.
Are you in Costa? Yes. So can people see you? Yes.
I had a big sign written van that used to sit outside as well.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, that van's always there. And you
good,
probably look
good
like,
and bad.
you probably look like a trainer as well.
Yeah.
You probably had a t-shirt on which had branding.
Absolutely.
You might have had a book which had your little logo on.
Yeah.
Then people needed to know who you are. So you're in the coffee shop, but you're probably listening to people, you're talking to people.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing as well. Is talking to people. It's like so many people. I see so many trainers that just don't talk to people.
No, they work in the gym. And you've got
like,
all of these members,
and
and
they just
like,
don't talk to people.
Oh no, I won't talk.
Yeah.
So they got no brand awareness first. You got to put yourself in the right situation.
Yeah.
The people have then got to truly get to know you, who you are. They then got to like you and trust you enough to go, actually, I'm going to go with Lou rather than the other 20 other trainers in my local area that I know of, but I don't really. So it's that thing, as in, you said earlier, which was really good, you documented your journey from being qualified to train people and putting out tips and tricks and doing it on Facebook. Again, you could do that on social media. You could do that in person. You could go to Costa or whatever. There are other
coffee shops available elsewhere. There's no way affiliated.
But you could go to them and you could say, "Can I want to put on like some easy like nutrition stuff or some training stuff."
I think I did a seminar in Costa.
Yeah, I remember you doing it.
Yeah, I did a seminar in Costa and I had some posters in Costa about caffeine and stuff. And I think it's just so many people just overcomplicate and like don't do the simple stuff first. Like, it's cool to complicate stuff and do the stuff that is complicated. Yeah. But make sure that the basics and the foundations are there first.
Yeah. So how do you transition from the school? So you obviously got 45 people coming in. Now you're counting the money. You're going, I can open my own gym. How did you research? How long was it from you making that decision, I want my own gym, to then being able to have your own gym?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah. So that was the very first time that I actually thought I wanted my own gym, was when I hit that number threshold of like 40 plus and I was doing, $2.5 grand a month. I was like, one, it could be affordable, and two, it means that I could take my personal training from the gym that I was paying into somewhere that was mine, and I could control the environment, the way people were spoken to, the branding, the facility, the layout. I could control all of that if I had my own place. So it was a really weird time, because I wasn't actively looking. My dad was away on a holiday, and a lot of my business decisions go through my dad. And I was in Costa, and I eavesdropped on a conversation that somebody had been to look at a unit, because they had 3 units spare in this one place. And I wrote down the address of what I could make of it. Left Costa that morning, drove to that address, found out that there was 3 units still available, found out who owned them, organised a meeting for that day, and then pretty much within 48 hours I'd signed a lease to say that it was mine. So, I mean, fortunately where I am, rent is really cheap. So
you're saying it's £400?
Yeah, so my first facility was like £400 a month, which was cheap, but it was a shithole. I think I spent $4 grand just getting the building okay, and even then there was leaks and there was all stuff that was a bit crazy. And Luke knows. Luke's been there. It was a shithole. There was broken cars outside it. It
weren't the best location.
Rough. No, there wasn't. It was fine pre 9 a.m. So for most sessions it was fine because there was no one there.
Yeah.
But middle of the day, if someone came into PT, it was a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, I went from being outside in March. I literally went kind of incognito, went behind the scenes, did everything I needed to do, took this facility. I don't know whether I can show any pictures or anything, but it was a run-down place, and just built this space that I thought in my head was the right thing to build. I don't remember having any big influences. I knew that I wanted some grass. I knew that I wanted half mats, half grass, and I knew that I wanted a couple of squat racks so that I could squat and a couple of my PT clients could squat. And then within 3 months we were transitioned in and we were there.
So when you signed the lease, how long was the lease for?
I think it was 2 years originally.
2 years.
It was really weird because I didn't know this. Because my dad was away, I went kind of against his word. He was like, don't do anything until I get there.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened that the guy that owns the buildings was one of my dad's friends. So it then meant that business negotiations were much, much easier. He was an incredible landlord. He gave us 3 months free rent, give us the space and the time that we needed to be able to get it profitable and working. Shortened the lease to 2 years because I wasn't sure I didn't want to tie myself into something that was like 5-10 years.
Yeah. Shortened
the lease enough so I was like, right, well, I've got this much money. I could probably pay 2 years. That's fine. But if after that it doesn't work, then obviously I can't carry on paying. So yeah, it was a bit of a whirlwind really, because even starting out as a PT, I never once wanted to own my own gym. I just liked coaching people. I
You
liked
didn't
training.
want to be coaching outside in the winter months.
Yeah, and well, that was the other thing, was like the coat was getting thicker, the hat was getting thicker, the gloves
And it
were
will
getting...
put people off outside. Do you know what I mean? There's a certain portion of that population who've been like, I'd really like to, but I just want to be inside.
But interestingly, because obviously because people have paid as well, so it's the mindset of like people have paid. So our like no-show rate was like 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
It was like even outside in the freezing cold.
Did you used to send did you have like group messaging or groups?
We had a Facebook group, yeah.
Okay, so you're just being there like, right, mate, who's there tomorrow? Who can't make it?
Yeah, so it was at the start, it was just like, well, you're going to sign up and you're going to train at 6 a.m. And unless you tell me any differently, I'll expect you at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So then some people would like on a Thursday night message me like, oh, I can't make it in the morning. Is there any chance I can make it to the evening? So then I'd put out a little post saying, is anybody not coming to the evening this evening? Have we got space for one more? And somebody would be like, oh, I can't make it tonight. So yeah, sure. And it was just literally like that. But then when we got the facility, session times grew. So we went from just 2 every other day to 4 every other day, then to 5. Then business models started changing slightly.
Yeah, so tips are negotiate the lease if you can. Negotiate the lease.
Yeah. Negotiate the lease in a maybe not a monetary way, but I think a lot of places will give you flexibility in moving in and stuff.
Yeah, and you said, right, so how much? You said you spent about $4,000 getting it.
Yeah.
Just
I don't actually know how I got money.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
So you've just signed up to Morty's course. You've got these people in.
Yeah.
Then you're like, actually, I want my own gym.
Yeah.
You eavesdrop again. You're an eavesdropper. I've just learnt that from Costa. You'd like to eavesdrop.
Yeah. It's because I got really bad eyesight. So my listening is
like through the roof.
Yeah, it's like a dog.
Yeah, that's why I like doggos.
That's why I like dogs, because I can hear them.
So you've gone there. You've seen a bloke 48 hours after you signed. You signed the lease.
Yeah.
You ain't got how much money you got, like, start up?
2K. 2K?
2K.
No more.
You've not projected. You've done no research.
Nothing.
You've done no, like, what insurance do I need? What about equipment?
None of it.
You've gone into it as in, I just want somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm already training people body weight, so I can do that for the first part.
Yeah.
To bring in some more money.
Yeah. Yeah, my first thing was like, let's get a space so that if it rains, people can still come here. But also I wanted to create a space. I wanted to create a space where people, because what I was finding was that when people were leaving the sessions, they were going to stand by their cars and they would spend, I would always be the last car to leave, but they would spend 10 or 15 minutes just chatting at the front of their bonnet, or they'd get in their cars together, and they like literally like 3 or 4 pockets of people would be chatting and just getting on. And I was like, I'm really missing a point here. If they can come to me and sit, train, then sit in a space, have coffee, have tea, have whatever they want, that's only going to strengthen the retention. It's only going to strengthen the community. So that was one of the biggest driving forces, was not necessarily because I didn't mind the rain, and most people didn't mind the rain. You're not lifting cold kettlebells and doing all that kind of stuff anyway because it's body weight. But for me, it was like, create a space. Like, where can we put people that they feel comfortable? And I wanted to create a space that wasn't a gym. So in my head, it was like, right, well, half it's going to be grass, half it's going to be mats and a rig. So I think the money came from, obviously those 40 people stayed. I think they went up to 50 by the time we were in the gym. So then I've had 3 months of 2.5K. So that, as I was getting paid, I was paying it out.
And you're not even paying the other gym now because you're doing it out.
Not paying the other gym.
So
that wasn't big.
Yeah, but it's still.
But it was still money out. So as money was coming in, I was paying it out. So the first bit of the gym, the first 4 weeks, first probably 6 to 8 weeks, we spent just like ripping walls out, like trying to fix the leaks in the ceiling, painting.
So no like fitness equipment.
No fitness equipment for the first 8 weeks. Yeah, it was a shit.
And did you say that to him? Obviously, that helped you get the 3 months. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to spend my own money.
Yeah. So when he walked in, he couldn't believe the transformation. He was like, I didn't expect you to do it this well. So essentially, and then I think my black box order was 2.5K. I think that's all I ordered. I ordered 3 barbells, 150 kilos of plates, a 2-bay rig, 2 benches, and that was it.
So how long was you in there before you actually paid money to get that equipment?
I bought it outright, yeah.
Yeah. But like, was you 3 months in?
Oh yeah, so this was like the last thing. So we moved in I think it was like the end of June. I maybe bought it like a week before. Okay. Oh, we bought matting as well. Matting was quite expensive. Matting was like £1,000.
So you're up and running now. Before we talk about changing the business model, so your model now was large group training, body weight.
Yeah.
Now you've obviously got a facility, you've got equipment that you can use. What were some of the things? There's probably a lot of things. Think about people listening to the podcast and they go, actually, I'm not in London. I do want to maybe open a gym because I could get rent fairly cheap.
Don't do it.
All right. So apart from don't do it, what were some of like the hidden things that you just never? I mean, you rushed into it pretty quickly. So what are some? If you were to look back now and you was giving someone advice, similar position yourself, what are some of the things that you overlooked that you didn't know, and some of the hidden costs outside of just paying rent, electricity, and stuff like that?
I think if someone's in a similar situation to what I was, earning money outside with no overheads, I would do that until you physically can't do it anymore, because the no overheads is a huge thing, because you can bank most of that money. And especially if you're looking at it as like, well, one day I'm going to open a gym. Use the time that you're outside with no, like we paid £50 to the school a month. That was it. So the rest of the money, that was one client at the time. So the rest, I think we actually put up a price increase, but it's irrelevant. But I would stay outside for as long as possible, or stay in a position where the overheads are minimal. And because I feel like if I was to go into it now, I'd want 10, 15 grand in the bank.
Rather than 2,000.
Rather than 2K, yeah.
Because that's the thing, people can get really excited really quickly.
Yeah, I jumped in it far too quickly.
So I've got 2 months in.
Yeah.
How many months of revenue would you say that you need to have before you make that decision of like consistently good?
Yeah, I would say minimum 6.
6 months of like consistently having 2,500, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000.
Yeah.
Rather than having 1 or 2 months and then going, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And use that money. So stay longer outside, keep your overheads down as much as possible.
Yeah.
Save as much money as physically possible in that time.
Yeah, I wasn't in a fortunate place where somebody could give me that money.
Yeah.
We did have an investor offer me £15,000 at the time.
And you just went no?
I said no because I didn't want someone else calling the shots.
Yeah.
So I was just like, no, I can do this myself. So I would also, I mean, I had no idea, you know, as a 21-year-old, no idea about business, no idea about accounts and profit and losses and KPIs and all that kind of stuff. I had no idea. I would say that you need some idea, at least. You need more of an idea than what I had. I mean, I was probably lucky because of where I was. The rent and the overheads were fairly cheap. If they'd have been more, we probably wouldn't have survived.
Yeah.
But I would be in a place where I'd be wanting to learn more about business than about coaching, until the business is in a foundational place where it can kind of run itself in a roundabout way, then go back on to focusing on my coaching and actually helping people. Because if you haven't got a business, you can't help anyone anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like you need the business foundations first before you can actually offer a service and a product, and obviously a gym. And I think one of the things I always see is like people invest too much money too early. There's a couple of gyms in a close vicinity to me that have gone bankrupt within like 9 months, but they've got like £500,000 worth of kit. It's like I had £3,000 worth of kit.
Yeah, so it's having like, don't be tight.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
like be tight, as in try and stay outside for free as long as possible, 100%. Or for really cheap.
Yeah.
And then when you do get a facility, it's so hard, isn't it? Because you get it's your baby and this, and you're like, I want this. And I think what a lot of trainers do as well is they want the equipment that they want, that they normally train with. Yeah. So they're like, I need a squat rack. I want some like platforms.
Yeah.
I want these bars. I want all of the weight plates. I want dumbbells up to 50 kg. Bearing in mind your people that you're currently training and just doing bodyweight exercises. Yeah. So I think what they do is they're selfish. And they go, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that, I'm going to buy that, because then I can, otherwise, like you're opening a gym to make money and to help people, not a facility for you to train yourself.
Yeah, and if you don't make money, you can't help anyone, right?
No.
So for me, it was like, well, if I invest this much now and it works, I can invest more later on. Yeah. And what that actually does is, from a client's perspective, is that I'm paying him, and every month we come in, there's new dumbbells, there's a new set of kettlebells, there's a new bench.
That's good retention.
And people are like, okay, this guy, because quite clearly we can see that he's making money because there's 25 of us in each session, and we're all paying him £65 a session. But every opportunity, I would buy a new prowler, I would buy some more weight plates, I'd buy a new barbell, and I was always investing that money. And I think that was one of the biggest things that most people stayed early on, was because like we're part of this journey. Like, he's growing this thing, and he's providing a good service, and he's using the money that we are or like paying him for his service to help us with what we want to achieve. And that's, I did that for, I can't even remember, like 18 months maybe.
Okay.
At this point, we then I could start offering more stuff. So we were running the large groups, and then we offered what was called the Body Project, which was a small group session. You remember Body Project?
I remember. Look, we've known each other for a long time.
I know, it goes back, doesn't it? It does go back. So we offered the Body Project, which was small groups of 6. So because I was barbell background and I loved all that kind of stuff, I was like, there's people that want more. So we offered it out. It was exactly the same sessions, but with barbells, and a small group of 6. So you got more coaching, more accountability, etc. And there was £100. There was £100 a month
compared to the large group. How much?
65.
Okay.
So at one point we had the Body Project was always full. If someone left, someone from the large groups moved up.
You'd upsell them up.
Yeah, and but at the time I could only run two small groups.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was just lazy. I could have done more hours quite easily. I was just lazy. At one time we had 58-ish people, 55, 58 people on the large groups over 3 sessions a day, and then always max capacity 12 on the small group. So at one point we had 65 to 70 clients, an average of about £75 a client. And that's when I was like, okay, this is fairly good. Yeah, this is all right. I'm helping a lot of people, which is really good. The community was incredible. Like, when I look back at the business that I used to have, like that's one of the things I miss most is the community. Like, people, just genuine people doing cool stuff. And it was just a nice environment to be in. People would stay and have coffee after. We'd go for every last Sunday in the month, we'd go for a coffee and a cakewalk, and there'd be 20 of us on the hills with dogs and whatever. And then we'd go back to the gym, and there'd be loads of cake, and we could drink coffee. We did a 24-hour polython, which was a sled push. We did 24 hours of sled pushing, and we had like 120 people show up in that 24 hours and raised nearly £5,000.
Wow.
So the community side of it was just incredible. And that's something I was so focused on was, how do you get these people to like each other when they're in the sessions? But I can hand on heart say that, well, unless there was any cat fights behind closed doors, that everyone did. And I feel like I will take credit for that, because I made the environment so that they could thrive and they could get on. Pairing certain people with certain people, knowing that person's probably not going to get on so well with that person. So
you used to pair them up, because this is one on my notes, was when I come to visit you.
Yeah.
Walked in. Yeah. I can remember. Pitch
so
black.
That was a Body Project. So that was actually, there was no large groups then when you came.
No.
So that was the transition.
Then. Yeah. So this was obviously. Before I came. Pitch black, early in the morning. You open up literally a padlock.
Yeah, a proper padlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, with an iron gate on it.
We go inside. I think there's a sofa to the right.
Yeah.
And you was just starting to build out the room on the left. Which
I was building like a little office, wasn't
office or somewhere. And turn on the lights. It's cold. I think you had maybe like one big heater.
Yeah. Just stick that on.
But then what I noticed was going to the community. I noticed the community aspect straight away. And this was also, I didn't see the large groups. It was the small group training. And I can remember sitting down, and then we obviously was filming for the graduate.
Yeah.
So I was like, Lou, can you make sure like they're okay with being filmed and stuff like that? And they were great. But what I learned was people turned up early and was just sitting on the sofas chatting to one another.
Absolutely.
And then after the session, they were chatting to me, I think Tom at the time, yourself, and there was just that community aspect there. So I think a lot of people are looking at, how can I market? And the best marketing, once you've got them, especially like for that type of business where you're not looking for volume.
Yeah.
Like, you're not looking for hundreds or thousands of people to sign up to a membership.
Yeah.
Let's talk about community. Let's get real value now of like what tips and for community, like what things worked well, how much time, like for instance, you said you'd pair certain people up.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things to help with community, help with retention. Let's talk about that, and let's talk about some of the other stuff you did do, so people can listen to the podcast or watch the podcast and go in a similar position and go, I need better retention. I'm going to thanks Lou for these tips. I'm going to take them away and use for my own business.
Yeah, I think one of the first things I learned when I worked at the very first gym, when somebody walked in, they never even got a hello. And 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't know what that person's name was because you had no details on that person. So when I created the academy, it was like, I'm going to do everything that gym didn't and make it better. So one of the things that I was always like super on was use people's first names. Always use people's first names. So whenever they came in, it's, hey, so-and-so, how's your day been? Or, you know, if they said that they were going out with their kids yesterday, remember the kid's name. So I think the community aspect works when you're personable with individuals, and then they feel comfortable enough to communicate with others. So it was always, I'm quite a huggy person, quite high five, like quite tactile. So if a person come in and I could see they're not feeling great, nice big hug. How are you getting on? Like, can we talk? Is there anything you need to get off your chest? Like whatever. But they always were greeted with a smile. They were always greeted with a warm welcoming face, whether that be me or someone else. But then what that does is that when you've experienced it yourself, like walked into a room and like nobody says anything, you're like, what the fuck do you do? Or if one person says something and everyone else is just sitting there, like it's still awkward. But what that created
break
was
the silence and the ice, just like get everyone in.
Yeah, but what that created was that when someone came in, it was like, oh, her name's Sharon, or oh, her name's Becky.
Because you can hear it.
Because you can hear it.
The amount of times I'll be like, all right, mate.
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, or you're right. So like they would then sit down on the couch like, oh, you're Sharon. You put in the Facebook group the other day about this. Like, oh, tell me about that. And then all of a sudden you've got like, you can't shut them up. So it's first names, always hellos. I think the welcome is the most important thing. Then going into like sessions, we used to do a huddle. So if it was a small group or a large group, we'd do a little tiny 1 minute, everyone together. I would run through the session. I would make a few jokes, like take the piss out of myself most of the time, or one of the girls would probably take the piss out of me, which was usually the case. Run through the session, run through expectations, any questions, anything they want to get solved now, let's do it. Just pairing people with the right people. So there's obviously personalities that clash, and you can see that if you're aware and if you look and if you listen, you can see that. And it's just making sure that those people don't get the opportunity to clash. If they stay away from each other, they won't, and it's fine. High fives, end of the session, well done, high five. One thing that they did well. So if they deadlifted 100 kilo, like great job on the 100 kilo, nice big high five. And then one thing that we did implement was everybody high fives. So once, like most of my sessions would run a 5-minute finisher. So it was quite intense, like feel people would be sweaty and whatever. Not. At the end of that 5 minutes, be like, right, good job team, everyone high five, great session. And then as I was individually high fiving people, it'd be like, great job on your 100 kilo today, great job on this, great job on that. And just reinforcing that good thing. So then in their head, it's like, it's a good place to be. They're going to get positively reinforced. People are going to like them. Because I read something on Facebook the other day about a woman joining the gym in January, and she lasted 7 minutes in the class and then walked out crying because nobody had spoken to her. And that's one of my biggest things is like, fucking speak to people. If they're paying you a lot of money to be there, like it's within their rights that you should say hello to them.
Yeah.
And like,
they probably know their name.
Yeah, and definitely know their name. And if you don't know their husband's name and their kid's name, you need to fucking
How did you remember that?
More.
Did you used to make a note? Did you have like...
I've got this weird ability to remember a lot of stuff.
Right, so if someone didn't have that weird ability, you'd say maybe have like a spreadsheet for your...
I'd never used to have a spreadsheet, no, but I would always try and make stories. So like when I met most people in Costa, I'd like try and remember what colour jumper they wore and then like what they ordered. So then I can like create a story off the back of that. So if somebody ordered like a large hot chocolate and they're wearing a blue hoodie, they're going to wear that blue hoodie again. So then I can just link it back. It's like, oh, they had a hot chocolate. Oh, it's Naomi. Oh, it's Richard and it's Sarah. And like, that's how I kind of do it. I think I've got mild ADHD though. So I think.
So when you used to pair them up, was that someone new coming in? Like how, did that permanently be in pairs?
Yeah. So when anybody new came in, we had, this was never really spoken about, but we had like people that I trusted most and people that I knew would, one, be super friendly, and two, also know technique and form as well as I do and enough to teach someone new. So once I feel like they were integrated into class, I'd be like, right, Becky, you're going to stay with Sharon today.
Yeah.
And when you go around in your groups, you're literally just going to follow Sharon. And I know that Sharon or Nick or Sean or whoever it was would be so on it that they would be, oh, you just need to do that, or change the weight, or do this, do that. And they would micromanage them for me. Yeah. And then that's straight, because their first session is the most important session and their first week is the most important week. If that goes tits up, they won't stay. So for me, it's like putting them with people, one, have been there for a while, two, that you can trust and you know that they're going to like help, and three, they're just nice humans.
Yeah.
So like I had like a few in each session that I could like call on and be like, if there's 2 new starters, like one's going to go with you and one's going to go with you, can you just look after them? And pre-session, I'd just be like, oh, hey, Nick, just to let you know, there's a new girl, Becky, starting today. Do you mind if I just pair with you? She'd be like, no, fine, totally. Look forward to it.
So you've got like peer support and peer teaching as well.
Yeah, and then I could still oversee it, but I still know, because we all know what a beginner like is in a large group. Like it's quite difficult to make sure that they get, especially if people have been training for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some, and you could probably, we could probably sit and talk about all these little things for days.
Yeah.
Because things will pop up. But I think how you treat someone, how you welcome someone, and the first week determines whether they're going to stay for a long time or not. Because I think my retention in the end was like people would stay between 18 and 36 months. Like it'd be very rare if somebody would leave in the first 18 months.
So how often would you have like those community events? Do you think it's important?
At least once a month.
At least once a month.
Yeah, it's not frequent enough that people don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
And it's like long enough that people can plan for it.
Yeah.
So we did a coffee and cake walk every last Sunday. Twice a year we used to do what's called the Academy Games. So it's like a fun adult sports day.
Yeah.
Some medals, and then we'd quite often go out and get pissed on the night out.
Nice.
So it was good. And that's all that stuff's like paid for. So we made sure that everything was covered. They have like a limited edition t-shirt and stuff. But again, then for like helping with goals and things for like clients for retention again, is like setting okay, we've got the Academy Games in 4 months. There's going to be these X and Y events. Like, let's make sure your deadlift is this strong, or let's make sure you're this fast. There's going to be a 2,000 meter ski erg race. Like, let's make sure that you're like proficient on the ski erg. And like internally, that's like, right, cool. I'm training for the Academy Games now. And I think that definitely helped with motivation internally, because it gives them something to train for rather than like, I'm just training just because I want to look good and feel good, which is great. It's a good enough reason. But sometimes a little bit of a performance-based goal is like,
And by having that event, they've got something to go, right, that's when I'm peaking to perform.
Exactly.
Like, that's when
and it was never anything serious. Like,
no, it's not like I'm going to be, it's the IPF World
no, it's like
Championship.
And I amazed myself in the first time we had 26 people show up the very first Academy Games. And it was just stupid shit. Like, so there was some actual stuff. So like there was a loading medley. So there was like certain kettlebells, dumbbells, sandbags, ropes, and a person that you had to carry back and forth. But then there was like bottle flips, most bottle flips in 2 minutes, most basketball hoops scored. We put a basketball
just having the mixture of like,
and it was making it as fun and non-competitive possible, because that wasn't my target audience. My target audience didn't really care how much they deadlifted. Yeah. So for me, it was like, well, if we bring in a competition, it's going to be like a bit weird. Yeah. So like, let's just make it fun, and then let's meet at 7 p.m. tonight. Let's go and eat steak and get pissed. Mm-hmm. So we had 2 minibuses that took us to a steak restaurant, paid for a bar tab. They all got pissed and they went home, and it was great. And they talked about that event for months in the gym. And again, community, it's like the next one's in 4 months. So then people are like, oh, well, I'm going to stay because I can't wait for the Academy Games. So then it's like a little secret retention trick as well. Yeah.
Right. So let's fast forward.
Yeah.
You leave that gym, the one I went to, you go to another gym.
Yeah. So in that time, we squashed the large groups.
Yeah. And the reason why?
I just couldn't be asked with them anymore.
Okay.
They were too mentally taxing.
You liked having
the small
6
group.
people to look after rather than 25 people.
Yeah. So that was one of the scariest things ever, because we were going from like 16 hours of coaching a week to 32 to fulfill the capacity of that many groups of 6. Yeah. So we then had an app built, and we had all the stuff like the check-ins and the block bookings and whatever or not to make sure that was managed. And I essentially told like 56 people that if they didn't want to pay £99 instead of £65, that they were no longer welcome in the gym. It obviously wasn't put like that, but that's essentially what the letter said. We had 2 people.
2 people left.
2 people left out of the 50 something. So overnight we made like, I don't even know what that is. It's like £1,000 or something on my monthly. Granted, so the large groups are just mentally taxing. They were just like,
but now you've got more outgoings because then you start taking on staff.
Not then, no, it's still me. So yeah,
but you're just working more hours for a little bit more money.
For working a lot more money and enjoying coaching again, because it's not mentally taxing. It's the stuff that I want to coach.
It's more personal.
So yeah, so then with this gym that we had, the location wasn't great, the outside wasn't great, it leaked. There was just very many things that were wrong with it. So then I started looking somewhere else. I managed to find a place that wasn't too far away. It was double the rent. Again, it was a bit of a shithole and it needed some work doing. We agreed a deal. It was like Christmas time, I think. And spent 3 months doing it up and getting it to a place that was acceptable. This place was better because the old gym was like one big open space, whereas this had separate changing rooms, separate shower. It had a welcome room, it had a kitchen, it had a consultation room. So it already had those things in it, which is what I really wanted, because this is the point where the community was really good. So I wanted a space where, so like if me and you trained in the first gym, if we sat down post session and Gordon's training over there, we know exactly what he's doing. Whereas in the second gym, it was a separate place. So we could sit and have coffee and chat and talk, and it'd be great because it'd be a separate environment to the actual gym. So yeah, we basically just went all in on the small group stuff. It was super fun. I enjoyed it. Coaching was fun. People enjoyed it because they're getting better results. Yeah. Because they're more barbell movements, like more complex stuff. Like their training's increasing, and it was just a good place. And obviously the second gym was much better. Location was better. Parking was better. The actual environment itself was better. And I don't actually think we bought any new equipment. We literally just moved all the old stuff over. I bought some new grass because we had the grass in the old place that couldn't get it back up because we used like super sticky glue. Bought some new grass, bought a big TV, and that was about it. And just got started.
And then how long, let's fast forward because people probably want to know, what happened to the end? What's the end? Because that's not the end of the story.
Yeah, so that was 2017.
Yep.
And then 2018. So it started 2017. That was March 2017. I remember moving in. It was great. Loved it. And then December 2018, I sold the gym.
Why did you sell it?
Just got to a point where I realized that there's more. I think because I'm not great business minded. I've been very fortunate in the decisions and the things that have happened to me. Yeah. Obviously, everything we've just spoken about, I've been very fortunate for a lot of that to happen. But I was just emotionally drained from the ups and downs of what being self-employed and what owning a gym does. And the second gym came with bigger overheads, greater overheads. So it went from like, £600 to £800 a month to run the gym to between like $1,600 and $2,000 to run the gym. So before you even switch the lights on, you've got to make $2,000. It's like, that's quite a lot of pressure. So yeah, so it was great and I loved it. And I still, I've looked back fond memories. It was a great place. The environment was cool. Like all the clients loved them all, apart from a couple. I can say that because they're not
going to watch this.
No, well, some of them will.
Yeah,
might do. But no, I love them all. It's just a joke. And so the biggest thing was like I went to Bali in May of 2018, and I let my hair down, put my sunglasses on, had my flip flops on. I said, "Do you know what? There's fucking more to life than waking up at 5 a.m. every morning, going to bed at 10 p.m." I was like, "I'm going to sell the gym." And my girlfriend at the time was like, "You can't sell your gym. Like, what are you going to do?" He's like, "I'm going to sell my gym." So I came home from Bali in May, sat down in the end of May, offered it to the woman that was working for me at the time. I said, "Hey, look, I'm not feeling great. This is not something I want to do long term." I was like, "I'm going to sell the gym." She broke down into tears. I was like, "Yeah, but I want to sell the gym to you." And she was like, to be fair, like Anna is a great woman. And I respect her and love her with all my heart. And she helped me out a lot by buying the gym from me because I didn't have to go through all the rigmarole of trying to sell it externally. So yeah, we agreed a deal. June, July, August. It probably about July when we agreed the deal.
Yeah.
And then it was officially handed over December the 1st, which was really sad because all these people that had been with me, I'd had people that had been with me since day one outside, in the cold, in the wet, in the rain, had stuck by me through everything that we'd done. I made some stupid mistakes, did some stupid things. And when I had to write that letter and send it out to those people to say like, this is not me anymore, it was really sad. It was really sad.
Is the name carried on, or is it?
Yeah, the name is carried on. The Fitness Academy still exists. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to do with it, and I won't have anything to do with it in the future. It's just not for me to get involved with anything that goes on there now. But I got a nice paycheck from it. I travelled for 7 months out of 12 last year, and I'm going to travel for maybe 7 months out of 12 this year. And yeah, the end.
Action.
What are your thoughts on me selling the gym? What did you think when I sold the gym? Because obviously we'd spoken about it.
Yeah, because you told me.
Yeah.
And then I said, send me through your numbers.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm like.
Yeah.
I'm like, if there's something to be done, I want to at least swing it. And then my thing was, it's too far away.
100%.
For me.
Yeah.
So if it was close, like the outgoings wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
And the numbers are okay, but it's more of the thing as in like I I felt like I just had enough on my plate anyway, even like PTC and de novo. So it was one of the things where like, let me see. And then I was sort of like, nah, like just don't do it now. It's more of I think just knowing you quite well now. It's weird because we're having this podcast and like we've known each other for a long time now without being like chatting to each other all of the time. Like that's not us.
Yeah.
That's not me anyway. It's just weird to like go through the story and I'm like, I remember the body project. I remember this. I remember that.
Snippets.
And things you forget and they sort of resurface and you go, course, it has been a while. I think it's just getting to know you a little bit better. You're just spontaneous.
Absolutely.
Like anyone that knows Lou, when he said, "Oh, well, I'm going to travel to South Africa," I was like, "Oh, we split up with his current girlfriend." Then that was my first thing to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you say that, but I've had two girlfriends in like 7 years, so it's not as if it's like a thing.
Yeah, but
I am just super spontaneous. I will just if I want to do something, I'll just do
having you being tied down to a gym is just probably for your personality. Knowing you a bit better now is probably not the best thing.
I think if I was to ever open a gym again, I would just run it.
You wouldn't.
I don't think I'd coach in it.
Yeah, you would be the.
But it's really interesting because like when I was in that, like owning the gym and responsible for everything, I felt like tunnel vision. Like I couldn't really see much out, and it was like
you're blinded because you've got an emotional connection. You can't take yourself out and then over.
But now that I've had so much time off, I'm like, fuck. I could have easily got that place to 6 figures.
Yeah. So maybe when you come back from South Africa,
we'll never say never.
Exactly.
I would do it very differently, a much smaller scale this time, I think.
So maybe next time you want a podcast.
Yeah. In 5 years' time, who knows? I'll probably be a zookeeper.
Maybe. Right, cheers, Lou. I know I've got to eat and you've got to go to South Africa.
South Africa.
Cheers, babe.
Thanks very much.